welcome back to the channel. It's me, TTC. Yes. All right. Dating While TTC, episode 6. I think this is episode 6. I got another cat running around here on the bed. You can't see him. He's like right here, but he's a little vocal, so you might hear him. Sorry. No, there he goes. Alright, so I haven't had any dating prospects lately since the last story. But I thought it might be fun to tell you the story of my ex. Now, in this video here, I kind of briefly mentioned my ex, my last serious relationship, and how I just haven't really been in a serious relationship since 2004-ish. But I thought you ladies might get a little kick out of hearing what happened in that relationship, because, come on, kitty. Come on. What are you doing? I can't pick him up. He hates to be picked up. Otherwise, I would show him to you. Yeah, he's like holding onto the bed. Now he's jumped down. Okay, good. Because him and his brother, they just hate to be picked up. Anyway, I thought you might get a kick because it is a juicy story. Okay, so I met him online when I was 18. And we talked online for a bit. And internet and email and all that great stuff was news back when people sent the chain letters and people actually like resent the chain letters. So anyway, I knew him, and then college started, fall of 98. Basically, he's just saying that, he kind of wanted to see me romantically, which was the first time he's said this. And mind you, I'd known him online for well over a year at this point. So it's like, okay, all right. So he and I agreed to meet. I met him, I guess, I don't know, we did dangerous things back then. I met him by myself, but it was in a public area. But I met him at a bus stop. It was like a bus station, actually. And he drove up, and we were supposed to go to the movies. And it was me, him, and his homeboy. Or maybe two of his homeboys. Maybe just one. And basically, I'm in the car, he's driving. There was a whole lot of trust going on back then. I'll just put it that way. So, we went out on that date, and we continued to date. And then by September of that year, by now it is 99. Was this freshman year or sophomore year? I can't remember. I think this was like freshman year. So by September, which is now the beginning of sophomore year, he and I were officially in a relationship. So that was 99. So that's how we met. Lots of things happened in a relationship. We had a lot of things in common. His mother's sister was actually my second grade teacher. My brother's second grade teacher. She taught at the elementary school, my neighborhood elementary school. That was pure coincidence. It was a good time. We were having a good time. And his mother initially was kind of like, oh, another one. But I think the more she saw me, the more she kind of like warmed up to me. And we still speak to this day. We're Facebook friends and all that great stuff. So, and I, have a bond with the family because, 7.5 years, I dealt with him. So, anyway, how and why we broke up. So we broke up a couple of times in our relationship, and I guess maybe a little frustration on his end because, well, when I met him, I'm just gonna be honest, I was a virgin, and I continued to be a virgin until I was 22, like right before my 23rd birthday. So, um, you know, we were pretty much together on and off for like 5 years without actually having intercourse. Um, and I guess he was frustrated. He wasn't a virgin. I think most guys, you telling me a virgin, you're saving yourself for marriage or whatever. A lot of girls said that back in the day, but they didn't really mean it. So if a guy pushed the issue enough, uh, he could get what he wanted. But, I, on the other hand, have been known for pumping the brakes quite a bit. Now, I was a virgin, yes. I would like to call myself a little dirty virgin, right? Um, I did things that shall remain nameless. um, but just never all the way, right? I mean, and your kids, you do all kinds of things. But not that I had a reputation or whatever. In general, I was a good girl. I was a very good girl, very well respected in my neighborhood by the guys in the neighborhood. I wasn't just out here doing whatever with whoever or anything like that. And he was very respectful to me as well. Never pressured me once. I'm not here. This isn't a bashing. This is just an experience, my experience of what happened in our relationship. So I'm not here to bash him to say, oh, he just didn't want it. He did blah, blah, blah. None of that. Let's see. So we broke up, but it was kind of a situation where we weren't officially in a relationship, but um, those outside couldn't really tell because we were still together all the time. And it was just like we were just continuously in a relationship. But in all actuality, we knew that we were not. So we had an arrangement within this breakup time in which we were spending so much time together. And that's because I guess this was probably around 2003, where when I did finally, he was my first, when I did finally decide to have sex with him, we were not officially in a relationship. So when the relationship turned to this, um, we had this arrangement anyway, but the arrangement pretty much was, you're free to see other people because we're not together. I'm free to see other people. But if he found someone that he was particularly interested in and wanted to pursue something more serious with, he was supposed to let me know so that I could adjust my interactions with him. And I was to do the same. Also, if he decided to have sex with someone else, he definitely needed to let me know so that I could adjust my interactions with him. And the same for me. So there was a girl, and I can't remember where he met this girl, but they talked on the phone a lot, and he claimed it was no big deal. Um, there was a lot of things going on at the time. I think his dad was a truck driver, and they had a house, and he was selling the house. I think his dad's sister passed away. He was buying her house, and they were going to live there. So he sold his house where it was. His wife was trucking with him. They had no actual place. But when um, his aunt passed away, his dad's sister, his dad and his dad's wife, not his mom, but his dad's wife, came to live with him in his one-bedroom apartment. Right. They were sleeping on a futon in the living room in this one-bedroom apartment. It was barely big enough for me and him to really function around in it. Not that I was living with him, but anyway, he let his dad. Now his dad wasn't there all the time, but his dad's wife was. And for whatever reason, I guess she had some attitude with me. I thought we had a pretty decent relationship. We never really got into any arguments or anything like that, but I guess he must have had some conversations with her or whatever. So eventually they got into the house, his dad's sister's house, and they moved out. So they lived with him for some time. He and I weren't together officially, but again, we had some interactions. So, and I was there not every night, but I was there pretty often. And so he decided he wanted to be back in a relationship with me. Okay. But he wanted to start this restart of our relationship on an honest foot. All right. And he had to tell me something. Okay, what's that? Well, that girl that I was talking to, well, we had sex. Really? Not once, not twice, 3 times. Here? In this here apartment? Yes, once. Oh. So, see, this was during the time that his dad and his dad's wife lived there. So that means I wasn't there. At the very least, his dad's wife was there. He brought this woman over. She stayed the night. They had sex, whatever. And nobody said anything to me. Not his dad, not his dad's wife. He never said anything. I'm like, well, did you at least change the sheets? You know, you know what I mean? And he's like, yes, of course I changed the sheets. And he's upset because I'm upset, and I'm like trying to process this because we had this arrangement. This is a trust arrangement, right? I trusted you to let me know, and his perspective on this was, yeah, he slept with her once. He felt like, oh, that was fun. I want to do this again. He did it again. And then I guess she started pushing for something more serious. And that's when he realized he didn't want to hurt me. He wanted to be back with me. It's a very weird thing. I don't know how the mind of men work, but apparently this is the story he told, okay? So I'm just like, right. But you didn't tell me like you were supposed to tell me. Like, I don't feel like he cheated on me. I just feel like you broke my trust because we had this arrangement that you were supposed to let me know about, and you didn't. I need to process this. So I guess when he told me this information, we were in the bedroom, and I'm just like, we were like sitting on the bed, and then I guess I didn't say anything for a while. Eventually he fell asleep, and I couldn't be in bed anymore knowing, chick homegirl slept with him there, and I was just out in the living room and just processing. And then eventually he woke up, and he's just like, oh, she can't even stand to be in the same room with me. And he came in like all crying and whatnot. Again, not making fun of him, but he was upset. He felt like he messes up all the good things in his life, and he just wanted me to forgive him. And I'm okay, not gonna lie, totally in love. Okay, I'm totally in love. Love makes you do stupid things. And I'm just like, okay, we can try this relationship thing again. Appreciate your honesty and wanting to be honest about the situation, but you don't get to do this ever again. Like, ever. Do not do this ever again. He's just like, I won't. I just feel like blah, blah. Okay. So, we're back together in this relationship. But for whatever reason, wasn't going that well. Didn't even make it another year, okay? Before we were broken up again. But this breakup was a little different, right? I think he and I were kind of just indifferent to each other. It wasn't the same relationship as it had been prior. And he actually was just like, one day you're going to wake up and want to be married with kids, and I don't ever see that for myself. And I'm just thinking, I mean, I'm not, I'm in college. Well, no, I'm out of college at this point. No, I'm in, no, I'm out of undergrad at this point. 2003, I graduated from college, from undergrad. So I'm just like, well, no, was it 2003? So I met him in 99. Uh, Maybe it wasn't 7 years. I met him in 98, maybe late 97, but I think 98 I met him. And everything fell apart in 2005. So we weren't together. I want to say it was like I've over 7.5 years of knowing him. So this time, I think this was before I graduated. And we were broken up again, still spending all this time together, but this time it was kind of like an amicable breakup. I saw it coming. I'm just gonna put it that way. I saw it coming, and I wasn't surprised that he just wanted to end it. Okay, fine, it's done. But we still spent a lot of time together. You could even say that we basically lived together because I was there like every night. He I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get a lot has transpired over this time, and I'm just trying to make sure that I have all the important parts going on here. So, um, there was times where, well, let's just put it this way: he was in this apartment. He did at one point ask me to move in with him. I didn't. I declined, but he wouldn't let me explain why. Okay. My explanation for not officially moving in with him, then don't get me wrong, was basically there every single night. I practically lived there already. Okay. I declined moving in with him because I made a promise to myself that when I left my mother's house, only tragedy could bring me back. I did not feel that at that point in time that I was financially in a position to be out on my own. Because if it did not work out with him, I was back to my mother's house. That wasn't tragic enough to send me back there. So that's why I declined. He never gave me the opportunity to explain that. So I think he felt some resentment about me declining it. And that was probably the beginning of the entire downfall. So he eventually moved out of that apartment and he started staying with his dad. You know, that house that his dad and his dad's wife got? Yep. So, when he started staying there, his dad's wife had a rule about me. Where this came from, no clue. But she had this rule where I was only allowed to stay over 1 or 2 nights a week, something like that. And I'm like, I mean, if she don't want me there, I'm not gonna go where I'm not wanted. And he's like, well, I want you here. Well, okay. Well, if you're not there, I'm not gonna be there. She don't want me there. She don't want me there. I don't, you know. And so there were times where he would like sneak me in the house, and then, he'd take me home. Uh, it was something about, he must have said something about me like sneakily moving in with him, and while he was staying there or something like that. And I'm just like, right. Like, I didn't like just sneak my way into moving in with him. He wanted to see me every day. I wanted to be there every day. But if I'm not going to keep coming home, I mean, I could have just went home back to my mother's house. I didn't have to stay at his place. I didn't have to stay at her place. But I want to be there. He wants me there. So I stayed. I could have went home at any night. If he didn't want me to stay over, I didn't have to. But anyway, I guess he must have said something to her that gave her that impression. So she didn't want that happening at her house. Never mind how hospitable I was when she was at his house. But at her house, she didn't want me moving in or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Like, I'm not, she don't want me here at all, really. She just compromising on a couple of nights. I don't have to be here at all. So he was adamant about wanting me there. Okay, fine. So it got to a point where I would hang out on the weekends. And I would come in Friday night. He played basketball in a league on Saturday mornings. Now I work, so it's not like I wasn't there like all week. We go out Friday night, and I would be there Saturday morning. See, her problem was I didn't just flow around the house. Like I was there, and she couldn't tell whether I was there or not. So either she saw my car outside, or she just had no clue that I was in the house. Well, that's because I operated in her house the way I operate in my mother's house. I stay in my room. I have everything I need in the room. TV is there, phone's there. I don't have any reason to come out of the room other than to go to the bathroom. And, he and I would leave together to like go eat or whatever. So I guess she felt like her man was around. She didn't want me around. Whatever. I really don't know what her problem was. She never, we never really had a conversation about it. But what she did do one particular day, which I actually thought was a joke until he said something to me, and that was, I guess she figured I was up there. And at this point in time, I worked 6 days a week. I worked my full time job Monday through Friday, which I was on call all the time. And I worked at a rec center, the same rec center he played in the league. On Sunday, I worked the entire day from 8 to 4 on Sunday. So on Saturdays, I slept in. And a lot of times I was sleeping until 1:30 in the afternoon. Why? Because it was the only day I had to myself. All the other days I was working. So he left for his basketball game, and then she shouted upstairs like, "You need to come down here or whatever, get dressed or whatever. You're not gonna be sleeping in my house all day. Well, I had somewhere to be anyway." So I got up. I just thought she was joking. I didn't really put too much on it. Then eventually he came to me and said, "Why didn't you tell me she said that stuff to you?" Oh, to be honest, I thought she was kidding. I think this was before I found out that she didn't really want me there. To be honest, I thought she was kidding. I didn't know that she was serious about what she was saying. I thought she was joking. And sorry, the phone died. Anyway, like I said, I thought she was kidding. I didn't know that she was serious, and apparently she had gone to him and asked him to tell me she was sorry for making remarks and being rude or whatever she thought was doing. And he's just like, "Why didn't you just tell me about it?" And I'm just like, I didn't take it that seriously because I didn't know she was serious. But then I noticed she's serious. Like, she really don't want me here. She really feels that way about me being here. Then I ain't got to be here. So I stopped really wanting to be there if he wasn't there. And, I think he had some issue with that. I don't know if he said anything to his dad or whatever, but um, he didn't want to stay there anymore because now I didn't want to be around unless he was around. I didn't feel welcome there anymore. And I don't go where I'm not welcome. And I mean, I don't have to be there. She don't want me there, then we just have to hang out somewhere else. Like, I don't have to come there. And he just felt like, that's where he lived. That was his home. He was paying rent. He should be able to have company, but he's basically renting a room there. And for whatever reason, she just wasn't like I was traipsing around the house. And like I said, his dad is a truck driver, so, and was not my cup of tea. So she had no worries for me about trying to seduce her husband or anything like that. But he felt some type of way. So anyway, she felt some type of way. Anyway, so then he rented a house, but what he told me is that he wanted some time to himself. And I guess this was pretty much towards the end of our relationship. He wanted time to himself. He didn't want me there all the time. And there's Ninja again. He didn't want me there all the time. So I said, all right, fine. I ain't got to be at your place all the time. We weren't together. It wasn't a big deal. So, but then he started having an attitude about the fact that I didn't want to be there all the time. Apparently, I wasn't there enough. So it's like, you want me here or you don't want me here. You want me here, you don't want me here. Like I'm told. And anyway, from the day that I met him, he had always said that he never wanted to get married. Marriage was a trap. He didn't appreciate, like, he had no problems being in a long-term committed relationship. Just didn't want the legal confines of a marriage. She just didn't want that.